Hi, Social Media Club. My name is Jessica Murray, your community manager, and today we are interviewing and getting all kinds of great editorial coverage from the IBM Social Lounge here in Austin at South by Southwest. And here to my right is Ngozi Odita, who is presenting a panel on Monday about...
The panel is called iVision Africa, New Media and Content on the Continent. And it's at the Sheraton at 10 o'clock. And it's all about how Africans are using new media to kind of retell their stories and give people a new perspective on what Africa is about, you know, kind of in contrast to the usual stories you kind of hear that aren't always positive.
Yeah. So I'm actually curious. I know that a lot of countries in Africa are pouring money into the infrastructure to help build networks and the broadband service, so more, you know, citizens can actually use these tools and get on the internet and access. Right. So tell me, do you know anything about the actual access to the internet in the continent? I
think like what's really interesting is most people in Africa access the web on their mobile phones, so that's like the predominant way. Like right now in Africa, like the biggest is like where the mobile is like growing the largest. So like they're predicting like by next year over 700 million people will have, you know, will be accessing the web on their phones. So it's really cool because that's how, so it kind of, I think like in Africa we kind of leapfrog things, so you might not have, everybody won't have a personal computer at home, but they're getting on the web, they're checking their Facebook pages, they can log on to Twitter, and that's really how everything is just moving so quickly. Yeah, and here in the US we're only discussing, or have been discussing, about how mobile is the growing trend, and it seems like it's already the trend there, so you guys are ahead of the game. So tell me about some of the hot spots and of who's using social media in the continent and what they're using it for. I think like when you think about social, there are probably like a couple of key areas. Like in Nairobi in Kenya, it's really big. Lots of people are using it. In South Africa, of course. And I think it's like just the sheer numbers of people. So you'll go to some place like Lagos, Nigeria, and you have like in Nigeria over 140 million people. So even if a small percentage is using it, it's still a huge number. So I wouldn't say it's like widespread everywhere, but the numbers are so large that it's still significant. And a lot of the people using it are really young, between the ages of 20 and 29. So, and they're using it for similar things like here, like just kind of socializing, but also to kind of promote the work that they do. So musicians, visual artists, filmmakers, you know, they're setting up their blogs, they're on Twitter, and they're amassing, you know, large people following them. Like there's lots of musicians that nobody would even know here, and then you'll look at their followers and they have like 100,000 Twitter followers, and it's like, so cool. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting, and they're engaging each other, but then they're also reaching out beyond their country's borders and talking to people in other countries and doing projects in Europe, in the US. So it's really interesting, yeah.
Now, do you help capture some of these stories of these, you know, artists and musicians kind of helping collaborate and connect across borders?
Yeah, so for me, I also produce content for my own website and for other people as well. So I try and like tell the stories of these different people within the continent, but also Africans who live in the diaspora. So like I'm working on a project called Meet the Afropolitans, and the idea is like, you know, cosmopolitan and African, and who are they and what are they doing? And, you know, they're filmmakers, they're technologists, and just capturing their images visually, but also having the video associated with all these visual images of like young people who are doing like really awesome things like all over the world, and they happen to be from Africa.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your panel on Monday. Who's joining you?
Okay, so I have Jeptumba Thomas. She's from Kenya, and she runs a website called African Digital Art. And I always tell people when I describe it, I'm like, it's visual eye candy. Like when you go there, you see like amazing pictures and videos and all this kind of like, you know, things that are like really like impressive and so visual, and it's really amazing. And she's kind of a content aggregator. She is a graphic artist as well, but her website is just about kind of aggregating all these images in one place, so you can go on it and kind of learn about different people doing different things within the continent. So we're going to be doing a core conversation. So basically, we're just trying to kind of engage people and talk in what are their ideas on Africa, and then providing them with a new perspective from our own experience. And we wanted to do something interesting so there'd be like a takeaway. So at the beginning, we're going to like ask people like, what are their visions of Africa? And then after our discussion, we'll ask them the question again and see if it's changed. And then we'll make like a little video that we'll post on the web so people can kind of get an idea of what we discussed.
And I think the core conversations that you're presenting on Monday, I think, are some of the among the most important at South by, only because I think it's really easy for folks in the United States, professionals, to be a little, kind of have the blinders on or be in a fishbowl, and they don't really look at social as, really that you can expand your borders and it really connect with people from across the globe, and folks do that, but they still may not follow through as well as the people who are in Europe and in Africa and all over Asia, and I think that's incredible. So good for you. So what are some of the social media resources that we can learn more about you and your project and connect with more Africans who are doing incredible things?
So for me, you can follow me on Twitter. That's my little plug. But I'm at HAE Lifestyle on Twitter. But some really good websites is African Digital Art, which that's the person I'm sharing the core conversation with. There's another website called Timbuktu Chronicles, and that kind of talks about everything from technology to culture to art on the continent, so you can kind of learn about all these projects that are happening. Another person to follow on Twitter is AfriPop Mag, and it's all about culture. So if you're interested in music, art, or fashion, it's all focused on those areas, but within Africa. So those are probably like the people that I follow the most and get lots of information from.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited for your panel on Monday, and thank you for coming by and sharing your story with Social Media Club.